By the end of this year, a single piece of Indian engineering displacing over 7,000 tons will completely neutralize a $5 billion naval contract between Beijing and Islamabad. I'm talking about INS Aridhaman, India's newest nuclear ballistic missile submarine. While Pakistan desperately eyes 8 conventional Chinese submarines to dominate the Arabian Sea, New Delhi has just changed the entire calculus of underwater warfare. To understand the brutal reality of global power, we have to look past the press releases and the diplomatic handshakes. We have to look at what nations are actually building in the dark. The news that Pakistan is acquiring 8 Hangor-class submarines from China, a deal estimated at roughly $5 billion, is being celebrated in Islamabad as a massive shift in maritime balance. These are Type 039A Yuan-class diesel-electric attack submarines. 4 will be built in China and 4 are supposed to be assembled in Karachi. But here's the cynical truth about this acquisition. Pakistan is a nation teetering on the edge of total economic collapse. They are negotiating bailouts just to keep their lights on. Yet, they are somehow financing a $5 billion naval expansion. Who is really paying for this? The answer is Beijing. China is not selling submarines to an ally. China is subsidizing a proxy navy. Beijing understands that a direct naval confrontation with India in the Indian Ocean is geographically disadvantageous for the People's Liberation Army Navy. So the strategy is simple. Arm Pakistan with advanced conventional submarines equipped with air-independent propulsion or AIP to keep the Indian Navy permanently bogged down in its own backyard. An AIP system is dangerous. It allows a diesel-electric submarine to stay submerged for weeks without needing to surface for oxygen to recharge its batteries. This gives Pakistan a significant anti-access and area denial capability, commonly known as A2AD. Beijing wants India to exhaust its resources hunting down these quiet Chinese-made submarines in the Arabian Sea. They want to create an underwater mercenary fleet that answers to Beijing's broader strategic goals while wearing the uniform of the Pakistan Navy. But India's response has been nothing short of a strategic shockwave. Enter INS Aridhaman. This is not just another submarine. This is SSBN, a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. It is India's third homegrown nuclear submarine, and it is significantly larger and far more lethal than its predecessors, INS Arihant and INS Arighat. While Pakistan is buying tactical vessels designed to sink ships, India is deploying a strategic Leviathan designed to ensure the survival of the nation. INS Aridhaman is equipped with an 83-megawatt pressurized water reactor, meaning its range is virtually unlimited. It is restricted only by the food required for its crew. More importantly, it carries the K-4 submarine-launched ballistic missiles. These missiles have a strike range of 3,500 kilometers. Let us bring the geography into focus so you can see the sheer scale of this power play. Visualize the map of the Indo-Pacific in your mind. Look at the Western Theater first. You have the Makran coast, Karachi, and the deep water port of Gwadar. This is where Pakistan plans to deploy its new Chinese Hangor-class submarines. Their goal is to create a defensive bubble in the North Arabian Sea, threatening India's Western Naval Command and critical trade routes flowing from the Middle East. Now, shift your gaze to the eastern seaboard of India, to the deep, murky waters of the Bay of Bengal. This geography is India's ultimate fortress. The Bay of Bengal has deep underwater trenches that are a nightmare for enemy sonar. This is where INS Aridhaman will likely prowl. If you draw a circle with a radius of 3,500 kilometers from the center of the Bay of Bengal, you will see something that should terrify India's adversaries. That missile range covers the entirety of Pakistan, completely bypassing their Arabian Sea defenses. More critically, it covers the industrial heartlands of mainland China, including Beijing. Geography dictates that Pakistan's new submarines are locked in a tactical knife fight in the Arabian Sea, while India's nuclear submarine sits silently in the eastern depths, holding a loaded gun to the head of both Islamabad and Beijing. This is what true deterrence looks like. Let us run a hypocrisy check on the global narrative. China constantly preaches about maintaining regional stability and preventing arms races in South Asia. Yet, the data shows they are systematically proliferating highly advanced offensive capabilities to a volatile state to serve their own hegemonic interests. They are turning the Indian Ocean into a heavily militarized zone while publicly claiming peaceful intentions.
On the other side, you have global institutions preaching non-proliferation, while quietly ignoring the fact that China is transferring sensitive submarine technology under the guise of commercial defense contracts. The reality of international relations is cold. Morality is a fiction invented to constrain the weak. Only power respects power. This brings us to the profound India angle. What does this mean for India's national security and its broader geopolitical standing? The commissioning of INS Aridhaman is a textbook execution of strategic autonomy. India operates under a strict no-first-use nuclear doctrine. If an adversary knows that India will not strike first, they might be tempted to launch a preemptive decapitating strike. The only way to prevent this is by guaranteeing a devastating, unstoppable second strike. A nuclear submarine sitting silently at the bottom of the ocean is the ultimate guarantor of that second strike. It cannot be easily tracked by satellites. It cannot be destroyed in a preemptive missile barrage. INS Aridhaman ensures that even in the absolute worst-case scenario, India retains the power to annihilate its attackers. But this situation also exposes a critical vulnerability that India must address. While the nuclear submarine project, managed under the classified Advanced Technology Vehicle project, is a shining example of Atmanirbharta or self-reliance, India's conventional submarine fleet is facing a crisis. Bureaucratic red tape and delayed procurement cycles have severely stalled Project 75 India, the program meant to build 6 advanced conventional submarines with indigenous capabilities. The strategic lesson here is glaringly obvious. India cannot afford to rely on imported platforms to secure its maritime borders. Every time you buy a foreign weapon system, you are buying their geopolitical leverage over you. You are dependent on their spare parts, their software updates, and their political goodwill. The success of INS Aridhaman, which boasts massive indigenous technological content, proves that Indian scientists and shipbuilders can deliver world-class strategic assets. Moving forward, the policy recommendation is clear. India must aggressively scale up its indigenous manufacturing capacity. The government must fast-track the development of nuclear-powered attack submarines, the SSNs, which are designed specifically to hunt and destroy enemy submarines. If China is trying to choke the Indian Ocean with proxy diesel-electric boats, India must flood the zone with homegrown nuclear hunter-killers. Furthermore, New Delhi must double down on its naval diplomacy. By securing logistical access to strategic ports in Oman, Madagascar, and Southeast Asia, India can extend its operational reach, effectively neutralizing any anti-access bubble China tries to establish. The game being played here is not about a few boats in the water. It's about locking down the most critical trade arteries of the 21st century. Pakistan is playing a tactical game borrowed from a foreign sponsor. India is playing a multi-generational strategic game built on absolute deterrence. Before we wrap up this analysis, a quick question for you to test your geopolitical knowledge. INS Aridhaman is India's third homegrown nuclear submarine. Which specific class of submarines does it belong to? Is it A, the Kalvari class, B, the Arihant class, C, the Scorpion class, or D, the Kilo class? Drop your answer in the comments below and let us see how closely you follow naval strategy. In geopolitics, there are no permanent friends, only permanent interests. Thank you for listening.